Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 131. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, everybody out there. We got a couple of new faces, I think. Nightmare Ninja. I'm not. Have you been here before?
I think we've seen that name before.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, welcome, everybody.
hello, all. All right, so let's get right into the topics because, oh man, I kind of want to talk about this.
All right.
Metroid Prime 4, man. That's going to be a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Nintendo announced the game E3 before last, so a year and a half ago, and they famously showed a title card. That's it. It just black screen. Metroid Prime
Which
4.
E3 was that? Was that
That was
2017?
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
guess.
And at the time, I think you and I both agreed that that indicated that Nintendo was just now starting on the game.
Yeah, yeah, it was in pre-production at that point. If
Yeah.
it wasn't just greenlit at that point.
Kind of like when they first announced one of the Smash Brothers games, I think Brawl. They're like, and we're making a new Smash Brothers. Someone tell Sakurai. And they're like, do. Hi, Sakurai-san. Guess what you're going to be doing for the next couple of years?
Yeah.
So I imagine it was something like that.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Nintendo did confirm that Retro Studios was not working on the game,
Yes,
but they never confirmed who
who
was.
Yeah.
It was rumored that Bandai Namco was either developing it or had a hand in developing it, but that was never confirmed.
Yeah.
So,
And hopefully it wasn't, and we were all hoping that it wasn't Team Ninja again.
mhm.
So
So
yeah.
Nintendo announced on its YouTube channel in an actual video, again, not
Yeah.
a press release that just kind of snuck out there, not a tidbit buried in an interview somewhere. They
Or not
actually
in a investor call or
right,
something,
right.
It was
This was an actual fully produced 3-minute video
with
uploaded to their YouTube channel, which
yeah.
said, okay, here's the haps, kids. We've been working on Metroid Prime 4 for a while now, and it blows.
Yeah,
So
that's the not as nice way of putting it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Miyamoto said this sucks harder than a black hole.
yeah. But yeah, Shinya Takahashi, he was the guy who had the unfortunate duty of announcing this and being the face of this announcement, and he was very nice about it. He was very apologetic and
He did those
everything.
weren't his words exactly, but
Yeah, but man,
but
yeah,
the
that's the gist of the 3 minutes was
yeah,
that
the gist
development
is
sucked and we handed it off to Retro to start over again.
yeah, but this doesn't seem to be the thing that Square Enix did a year or two ago, where they said, okay, the company that we've been working with to the Final Fantasy VII remake isn't working out, so we're moving the whole project in-house. That seemed like just a reorganization of staff working on the game.
Yeah.
Nintendo said, okay, what we're doing is not working. The game sucks. Everyone hates it with a fire that burns hot, with a passion that burns hotter than the fire of 1,000 suns. So we're junking the whole thing. We are starting from scratch, and Retro Studios is going to make it. So yeah, they're starting over on Metroid Prime 4. Now,
Yeah, this is a big deal because there's not a lot of companies out there that would scrap an entire project just to start over again. Most companies, like, we just found out from EA this week that they decided to can their Star Wars game that they were making, and that was it. They're canning the project. They aren't shifting it to another studio or starting over or anything. They're just saying, nope, we're done making this game. We're going to try something else. Nintendo here is, they know that people want a Metroid Prime 4, and they want to meet the expectations of all those fans. And, that is, to me, is a good thing. Yeah.
So this kind of reminds me a little bit of 5-6 years ago when Iwata actually came on a video again that was produced and uploaded to Nintendo's YouTube channel to bow his head in apology that there weren't any damn games for the Wii U. You remember that? Where he's like, I am so sorry that we have literally nothing for you to play. That was kind of amazing at the time, and
Oh yeah,
man, it is. I mean, as disappointed as I am that we're probably not going to see Metroid Prime 4 until the next console launches. I mean, it might be a dual release like
I don't
Breath
know.
of the Wild was.
Let's see. It's 2019 now, and they're starting over again. We could possibly see Metroid Prime 4 2021, I think. Unless they really
if they're starting over, I'm not expecting it until 22 at the earliest.
Yeah, that's true. So that's 3 years of development.
And that's enough time to get to the end of the Switch life cycle and and at least close enough to the next one where they might pull a Zelda, and even if it's ready, delay it a year until the next console is ready so that they can have a release on both, which is what they did with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So,
well, and they also did that with Twilight Princess on the GameCube and the Wii.
That was done.
That
was done and ready to go, and they spent another year flipping the image and putting the motion controls in to have a Wii release. But all the real gamers like me played it on the GameCube. So,
but
but that said, disappointed as I am that it's going to be even longer until we see the next Metroid Prime game. I do appreciate the transparency because, as I have long said, there is nothing worse than not knowing, not even a no.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, this is one of the things that endears me with Nintendo over other companies, is because Nintendo tends to be more open and honest. Of course, they bug the crap out of me when they go after fan projects and things, but at least they're honest about it.
Yeah,
they're not, and it's, but they're honest about other things too, and these kind of decisions, and so while I'm sad that I won't get, so when did Metroid Prime 3 come out? I gotta look that up now.
That was Metroid Prime 3 was a Wii game, so like 2007?
2007.
Because I remember playing it at E3, so it was an early Wii game.
Yeah. It was Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 3 came out in 2007, so it's already been 12 years. Well, not quite 12 years. 11 and a half years now that we're getting this news. So 2022 will be, oh goodness, 10 years, 5. Yeah, a long time. 5 years, 15 years. Yeah. And that's a long time between sequels.
Well, I mean, we did have Federation Force. I have to wonder if Nintendo's contriteness and transparency has anything to do with lessons learned from the Federation Force
I think so. I think if had they because they announced Metroid Prime 4 in 2017. In 2018, there was not a single bit of information about it in E3, in their E3 promo. Nothing, no news whatsoever. And I think had they got to E3 2019 and not had any information, not had a trailer or anything, fans would have been rabid. They would have called for heads to roll for not having any news whatsoever about it. And I think making this announcement now saves them from headaches at E3 this year. Because at E3 this year, now fans are going to know not to expect anything about Metroid Prime 4. And that, to me, is a very smart move for Nintendo.
So there's been a rumor that a Switch release of Metroid Prime Trilogy is pretty much ready to go. If that's true, I have to wonder what Nintendo's thinking now. They're like, okay, well, we've got Metroid Prime Trilogy. What do we do with it now? Do we release it now to say, well, here you go, old games again? If hope that picks up, or hang or sit on it for a couple of years until like the year before the game comes out.
I don't know. I think fans would be perfectly happy to get a re-release on the Switch. Get it this year, and that would hold them. That would satiate them until Metroid Prime 4 is finally released, and it would also give all the people who didn't have a GameCube and Wii way back when they came out an opportunity to play them again, or an opportunity to play them for the first time. And
it also is nice, though we don't get as many entries in the franchise as we'd like, as often as we'd like. As Matthew has pointed out in the comments, while Metroid does have a very vocal and passionate fan base, the games don't sell that great. They sell, but they're not like multi-million sellers.
Yeah, that is true.
I haven't checked his numbers, but I'll take his word for it. He says the entire series lifetime sales are 15 million.
From the original Metroid all the way to now, including all the Game Boy titles.
Honestly, that sounds about right to me. The game, I think a couple of them may have cracked 1 million, but the games never really overwhelm it. They don't really move consoles. The gamers who love them, but they've never been that huge of a franchise.
That's true, because it doesn't.
I'm glad Nintendo doesn't treat it like, say, F-Zero.
Yeah, because I can understand that. Metroid doesn't have the broad appeal that Mario does, and where a Mario game, any Mario game almost will sell 10 million plus and moves consoles. But yeah, Metroid is definitely not a console mover, but it is a game series that people love. And I personally love them. I like them. I haven't beat too many of them. I know I've beaten Metroid Prime. I beat Metroid 1 and 2 on the NES and Game Boy, but I only beat the first one because I used a Game Genie, and then
I don't beat the ones I played, Super Metroid and the 3 Prime games.
Yeah,
I played the original Metroid when I was really little at a friend's house, but I never.
Yeah, I haven't played and beat Metroid, Super Metroid. I've beaten Metroid Prime 1 and almost beat Metroid Prime 2, and I haven't yet started Metroid Prime 3. So, but yeah, and I have not touched Metroid Other M yet. I still want to play it, even though despite its poor reputation. And then I got to play all the Game Boy Advance Metroids as well. So I still have a lot of Metroid games to play, but it's definitely a series that I enjoy. But yeah, Zelda is a series that I've played more than I have the Metroid ones. But
something else that Matthew brought up to me on Twitter a day or two ago was in a world with lots of so-called Metroidvania games and great Metroidvania games, what is Metroid's place in the modern gaming landscape now?
Hmm. That is a good point. I think its place is that it is, since it's kind of the mother of the genre,
Hmm.
where Castlevania's the father, Metroid's the mother. Just because of the protagonists are female and male, but um, I would say that it has that place where one, it is what started it all almost, and then two, where where it's great to get new entries in that specific game series, and so that people can see how Nintendo, the originator of the genre, takes that franchise themselves. Where we've seen Castlevania, how it's evolved over the years, and we've got multiple games in the Castlevania franchise. You know, television series on Netflix now, and but we've seen how Konami experiments and tries new things with the Castlevania franchise. I think
Like
it's
pachinko.
yeah, like pachinko. But but I'm talking. We had the first three Castlevanias on the NES, and each one of them was pretty different from the others. Um, and then we had Symphony of the Night. We've had the 3D ones that play like all the 3D ones, and and yeah, I'm trying to think how many games have come out recently in the Castlevania franchise, but definitely Konami has tried new things with that franchise, tried to expand its
Mhm.
scope and what people expect from it, and I think Nintendo could very well do the same. And yeah, we've had some flops, with Other M, but we've had some really good ones, with
I forgot about Other M. Yes, I beat that too.
yeah, but we've had some
Memorable game.
yeah, but we've definitely had some really great ones with Prime and like Super Metroid, two very different styles of gameplay, but
Hmm.
they are both they are both very clearly Metroid games, and fans of one like the other as well, and and yeah, and I think getting more of these would be great, and that's one of the reasons why I liked when Nintendo did Samus Returns, the remake on 3DS, because one, they're giving modern fans an opportunity to play the second one in a new and updated engine and with new graphics and everything. Because if you go back, yeah, it's still perfectly playable. The game looks great for what it was on the Game Boy, but it's a Game Boy game in black and white. Um, we got a remake uh, of the first one.
Zero Mission.
Yeah, Zero Mission, and that was on the Game Boy Advance, and then now we got the 3DS with the Return of Samus, and so yeah, that I think that those were both great moves from Nintendo, and I would love to see a new 2DS Metroid as well, just a straight up new entry in the franchise that's just 2D or 2D.
If they
Uh,
haven't started one, probably.
yeah,
I mean, I could see them maybe uh, porting Samus Returns to the Switch. Um,
maybe.
Hopefully this time, don't lock content behind Amiibo. And
Yeah,
if they do that, I'll actually buy it because the game looks fun. Um,
yeah,
but I think it is interesting because there are so many Metroid-like experiences and genuinely great ones right now. Mostly indie games, mostly or
yeah,
small studios, mostly 2D. That a pure 2D Metroid might, other than brand recognition, might get lost in the shuffle without
maybe.
genuinely being phenomenal or bringing something totally new to the table.
Yeah,
But Metroid Prime, um, takes the concept popularized by Metroid and works it in 3D. And there aren't actually a ton of games that do that whole Metroid type game in 3D. Certainly
Mm,
not that well. So I think the Metroid Prime 4, which yeah, I'm assuming it's a 3D game. I think that will definitely when
yeah.
it eventually gets here will be welcome and will be a niche to be filled, and
Oh
will
yeah,
probably sell 600,000 copies, and that's it. But everyone who plays it will love it.
yeah. Well, and like you said, we've had tons of these kind of games. One of my favorites, it, Metroidvania, is now I gotta look it up. Look up the title.
Matthew mentions Dark Souls is Metroid in 3D, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You have a large interconnected, some more than others, I'd say, but definitely the first Dark Souls, large interconnected world that you wander through and open up paths. Not as much with I've got the special item that I need to go back to the area. It's more
Yeah,
just get better stuff. But I don't really draw a distinction between the two styles of play. Like, Samus has a gun, and unless you're playing a magic user or something, you typically have a melee weapon. Same kind of idea, but yeah, definitely a similar idea in world layout, in the sense that it's a
yeah,
large interconnected world that you constantly are opening up different pieces to. You open them up in
yeah.
different ways, but
One of my favorite
I think
indie
Bloodborne was
Metroidvanias is Aquaria, and that one takes place completely underwater. You
I
play it.
think I just got that for free
Yeah.
somehow. I should probably play that because I did hear it was good.
Well, it was in the very first Humble Indie bundle. So, but yeah, I played that and I loved it. And yeah, it is a Metroidvania style game, and I really really like it. And honestly, I love the franchise. And off and on, I've been working on a game that
Yep,
kind of
sorry,
fits.
I got it.
Yeah, that kind of fits into the franchise, and in a way, what I'm doing is combining a Zelda style top down. Uh, it's kind of I guess I describe it as a Metroidvania crossed with Zelda crossed with Mega Man, where instead of just finding the upgrades and stuff, you gain new abilities as you defeat bosses in the game. You kind of take over their powers like in Mega Man, and that unlocks new areas that you can explore. But yeah, it's all it's a 2D top-down game, so that's what I work on off and on, and eventually I'll finish making it. But for now, I just I haven't gotten it quite finished yet. But yeah,
But
I do love the franchise, or do
yeah,
love the genre. So
but still disappointing as it is that we won't be seeing Metroid for a while. Kudos to
yeah,
Nintendo for letting us know the haps. Because I mean, there have been plenty of games that have been stopped and restarted in the middle of development. I mean, off the top of my head, probably the most obvious one is Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think Ubisoft stopped and restarted that one like twice, but they never really announced it. They just stopped talking about it, and you're like,
yeah,
what's going on?
yeah.
You showed an image or something. So
Matthew asked a side question: what do we think of the Humble Store selling Switch games? And they sell
I
PS4 games, so
I don't I didn't know that.
well, just last week I believe
I guess they're
have
selling
they have
download codes.
yeah, that's basically it. It's download codes, but yeah, I got a bunch of PS3 games off of a humble bundle that they did. The Devil May Cry HD trilogy, Street Fighter 2.
I
They
want to I want to get the Onimusha remake because I never played that back in the day, and that
Huh.
game was fun.
Yeah, it came with what's the game with the dog?
Uh,
paints things.
Amaterasu.
Yeah.
Okami.
Yeah. They came with that one, and then Mega Man 8 and 9. And so lots of games on there. And the Street Fighter puzzle game. That one was fun. The Puzzle Fighter.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of PS3 games. And if I had a Switch, I wouldn't mind picking up some of these Switch games on there, because is it a bundle, or are they just I forgot if they're selling a bundle, or if they're just doing just selling Switch games. No, they're just selling Switch games. They're not doing a bundle. So, but yeah, they got Travis Strikes Again, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate,
Jack in
Pokemon
the chat is
Let's
asking
Go.
about Street Fighter puzzle game. Isn't that just kind of like a Tetris panel slider?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just a Tetris Bejeweled match 3 style game. And you pick fighters, and it's like you play 2 players, and you got the 2 fighters in the middle, and as you rack up points, your fighter attacks the other fighter, and it looks really cool. It's a fun
One of the
game.
Mortal Kombat games had a mini game mode in it. I
Yeah.
don't remember which one it was, but there was a Mortal Kombat puzzle fighter in it.
Yeah.
So, my last point I think I want to make on this topic is so Nintendo's scrapping the project and handing it over to Retro Studios, who, what the hell has Retro Studios been doing for the last 5 years?
I know that
Have
was
they
something
been
else
working on
that
anything? Have they junked every project they're working on? I hope they have because I've been curious to see what they've been doing. Maybe everything they've done is just fallen apart. I hope that they didn't just have to shelve whatever they've been working really hard on. I mean, I imagine they have enough people to do more than one game at a time, but I doubt they had like a team of 60 people just sitting around twiddling their thumbs when the Metroid Prime 4 was dropped on them. So, kind of curious what's going on there, but
Yeah, definitely. I would love to find out what they were working on, what's happening with those projects, and whether we're actually going to see them. Because it sucks just to lose whatever games they were working on, or have them you know pushed off to the side to wait until Metroid Prime 4 is done.
oh yeah, there was a rumored Star Fox racing game or something like that. Yeah, never
Yeah.
confirmed, but yeah, there's been some rumors of what they've been putzing around with, and they probably had they may have had a hand in the Tropical Freeze Switch port,
Hmm.
but I imagine they have to have been doing something more than that in the last several years. So, I mean, I've loved Retro Studios' output, but I've always been really curious to see what Retro could do it, just like, here's a bag of money, make the game you want to make. You give great Donkey Kong, you give great Metroid, but do what you're passionate about. um
Yeah.
I hope we see that someday. Maybe it would be terrible. you know I don't I mean, for example, it's like I can arrange music, but I can't write it worth a damn, no matter how much money. It's like, Andrew, you arrange such beautiful pieces of actual existing music. Here's some money, make your own music. It's like, I can't. I, I need that stepping stone. I can't write melodies worth a damn.
Yeah.
um
No.
okay, let us move on to a new topic. Um, let's stick with Nintendo for right now. This is more of a public service announcement than an actual topic, but half a year ago or so, Nintendo announced that the eShop on the Wii is going to be closing.
Yeah.
You haven't been able to actually buy anything on the service for half a year, but now actually near you. I think it was the end of March or something. But um, now the whole service is shutting down on January 30th, which is next Wednesday, which means that if you own any games that you purchased on the Wii eShop, you need to download them before the 30th, or you won't have your game that you paid for anymore. You will never be able to access it again. Anything you've downloaded and is on your Wii is yours to keep. But if you deleted, if you cleaned out the fridge, as Perrin Kaplan said, and deservedly got a lot of crap for that,
Yeah.
you're going to need to make some room or buy another Wii and start downloading stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any other major video game store that has closed and all of your games are going with it if you didn't download them. Is this
Hmm.
the first one or the first major one?
Um, I think this is the first major one, but
I can't think of any
I
others.
can't think of any other ones. But I do know that we've had video download services and music download services shut down
We've had
and do
game
the
servers
same
go
thing.
offline.
But I don't think that I think this is the first time a major game store has online store has shut down completely like this. Because I know that with Sony, your purchases are tied to your account, and
Mhm.
everything that you could buy on your PS3, you can still buy, and a lot of it's playable on the PS4. Not all of it is, but you can still download things on
Yeah.
your PS3, and the PS2 and the original Xbox had no online store, so yeah, I think this is the first time, and and I think this is a product of Nintendo's poor online account management.
I like how they phrase it. We re- by the way, you can transfer all your Wii crap onto a Wii U. You can do it. It's one way and it's once, but you can do that. Not like there's
Yeah,
a whole hell of a lot of room on a Wii U either, but at least you can attach a new hard drive to that. Anyway, they say if you have Wii points to spend, content you want to re-download, or content you'd like to transfer from a Wii system to a Wii U system, we recommend you do so while the services are still available.
so do you have any games that you gotta
No,
download?
I did not buy anything from the Wii eShop.
I bought.
I'm not a digital.
Yeah.
I I avoid digital downloads as much as I can. Partially for this reason, because I know someday, unless I have it on a hard drive somewhere, I'm not going to be able to get it again. Of course, you could always say, "Well, Andrew, your house could also burn down, and then you're not going to be able to access any of that." True.
Yeah.
But also, I like having stuff on my shelf,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
and
why
this
I
is
was so gung ho about actually getting a physical copy of Danganronpa 3.
yeah. Well, and this is one of the big reasons why I tend to buy things DRM free as much as possible. My GOG library, Good
Yeah,
Old Games,
I'll get a
and
game on
Humble
GOG
Bundle
before I'll get
libraries.
a game.
And I actually need to download all of those and put them on a hard drive somewhere. But on my Wii, I've owned two Wii's, and one of them I bought used, and it already had Mario 1 and 2 on it. But I don't have that Wii anymore, and so I don't really care because I've got an NES Classic now. Um, but the Wii that I still have, I actually bought Swords and Soldiers, the 2D the 2D strategy game with the Vikings and Mayans and Chinese armies. And I still love that game. I like to play it, but I also have that on Steam, so I'm not. I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me at all if I lost it on the Wii because I can play it on. I can play it on my computer. So, um, but yeah. So I haven't bought very much on the Wii at all. I think the only system that I've actually spent a significant amount of money on downloadable content is my PS3 because there was that Humble Bundle with PS3 games, and then I bought a bunch of PS1 classics on it, so to put on my PSP.
Chaos in the chat has an interesting thought, and one that's I find intriguing. A lot of us have Steam libraries and GOG libraries, just chock full of games that we will probably never play. Just lists of games that it's like I don't even know what that is anymore. I don't know what I own, and I I wonder what would Marie Kondo say about my Steam and GOG libraries of games. How would she help me tidy them up? How would she help me discover which games bring me joy?
Well, and here's the thing though, with Steam games, the only thing you can do is uninstall them. There's no way to remove them from your list.
Oh,
At least not as far as I can tell. Let's see. Right click on a Steam game, install game, view news, view community hub, view forum, view community guides, write a review, add to favorites, set categories and properties. So I guess you could create a favorites list, and that's the one you pay attention to. But yeah, I don't see any remove this game from my list option.
And somehow Chaos's corrected Kondo to Alonzo. How did that work? Wow.
Yeah. Jack Kamen says I have 107 Steam games. That's a lightweight, man. You're a lightweight. I can still consider myself a lightweight, and I have 244.
Does it actually do I have to count, or does it give a number?
No, there. If you have Steam open, you click on games under your library, and that tells you in parentheses how many games you own. So. Are you on the website or are you in your app?
I'm in the app.
Okay, so yeah, store, library, community, and then your username, and under library is a drop down, and it tells you how many games you own.
Library games 254.
Oh, Andrew beat me by 10.
And
I need to buy a new Humble
3
Bundle.
VR games.
I got 2 VR games.
I've probably spent less than $5 on Steam games. Almost all of this crap is probably just free stuff.
Well, most of mine are from Humble Bundles. I don't think I think I've only bought a handful of games, or some of them are free that I got from the developers' promos. A lot of them are just free game for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is. I have no interest in it. I will never play it, but it's mine now.
Yeah, exactly. But I have actually, I have actually spent some money and bought. I think Skullgirls is actually the only game that I've bought directly in Steam. So
Dude, Jack is challenging you to Team Fortress 2 and will gift you a game if you can.
I have never played Team Fortress 2. I actually have that in my library because it's a free game, but I have never actually played Team Fortress 2, and I suck at shooters. Challenge you to Skullgirls once I get a controller that actually works.
Nice.
But yeah.
Skullgirls is. I'm just an animation fan anyway. That is.
It is quality animation. I love the look and feel of it. I haven't played too much of it, but I do want to play some more and actually beat it a couple of times. Because I don't own very many fighting games, but the ones that I do have, I enjoy. I've got Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate. I forget which one it is, which version it is. I've got a Blaze Blue game, or Blaze Blue, Skullgirls, and Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, or whatever it's called, and that's it. Unless there's something on the NES Classic that I forgot as a fighting game, but.
So okay, let us move on to a new topic.
Yeah.
She-Ra! Have you seen the new She-Ra show?
Yes, I have. I enjoyed it.
So we might spend more than a minute on this topic. So it was just announced that season 2 will premiere April 26th, and I was like, yay! And they went, well, gee, that was quick, because season 1 premiered like in October or November. That's a really fast turnaround.
Yeah,
right. I mean, the first season was this fall. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't too long ago. Yeah, November.
So I wonder if I hope they didn't
I
like
think they. I think they
cheap out,
greenlit.
just
I think they
or they knew
greenlit
they had a good.
season 2 before season 1 was even released. I
Well,
think.
hell, they're already
Yeah.
apparently working on the sequel to Detective Pikachu, so why not?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it works for me because I rather enjoyed the first season,
Oh, I did too. I.
and I'm really interested to see how it improves for a second because I had my criticisms, and I will detail them now. My major problems with the Shiva show was a lot of the side characters were underwritten and didn't have a whole hell of a lot to do.
Yeah.
I kind of understand. It was a show that I felt could have used more than the 10 episodes it got.
There was 13.
Oh, was it 13? It was
Yeah.
a show that I was like, you know what? This could have used a few more episodes. The main characters they focused on, they did a great job on, but some of the side
Yeah.
characters I felt were a bit underserved. Also, and this is more of a budget thing than anything else, but both Bright Moon and the Fright Zone feel very empty, like
Hmm.
no one lives there. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
There was very little background. Very very few background and
yeah,
characters.
I mean, Bright Moon feels like Glimmer, her mom, Bo, Adora, and like
And then
two guards live there, and that's
yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
so it kind of, oh no, Bright Moon is under attack. It's like, well, find a new house because
Yeah, see
nobody
the
lives
yeah,
there.
in the Fright Zone, other than the core cast of villains, it
Yeah,
was random goons in battles, and then on the hero side in Bright Moon, there was that one village
yeah.
where She-Ra and company stopped for the night,
Yeah,
and that was it.
yeah. I mean,
For
the
extras.
one village where the I forget her name, but the tree lady who has plant powers,
Oh
the
yeah,
village actually felt like a village where people lived. But Bright Moon
yeah,
feels like nobody lives there, and the Fright Zone feels the same way. It's like, okay, Hordak and I guess baby Hordak, whatever that thing is. So you've got Hordak, Shadow Weaver, um, Catra,
Catra.
the Scorpion gal, Entrapta. I get spoilers. Uh, Not if you knew the original show,
Yeah.
and like 4 or 5 trainee recruit grunts.
Yeah, and then
That's about it.
a bunch of faceless goons that
There are the Horde soldiers who you rarely ever see. I think you see them in that in like the first battle in episode 2 where She-Ra or Adora is like, "Oh goodness me, we're bad guys." That's not cool.
yeah,
Then it actually looks like the Fright Zone has an army, but you never see any of them again. And that's a budgetary thing. Both Fright Zone and Bright Moon came off as places that just nobody lives there.
yeah, definitely. But
Which I mean,
yeah,
not a huge problem, but I think with more planning and a better budget, that could be something that's addressed. Also, the ending of the show. Spoilers: the good guys drive off the bad guys. Um, was a bit too neat for me. Like there was no lasting consequences. Like half of everything and everybody was absolutely fine. Nothing was on fire. None of Bright Moon was like needed to be rebuilt. Just
yeah,
they kind of magicked everything. We're all okay now. It's like, oh well, that was a little anticlimactic.
yeah,
Uh, I have to say though, I was kind of impressed with Hordak as an evil overlord because he's like the most competent evil overlord I have ever seen.
oh
Seriously,
yeah,
he's not the kind of guy who's like, um, "Oh,
He-
you have disappointed me, and I kill you, one of the 4 people I have left." No, he's a really good upper management dude. You know,
yeah.
he
Well, yeah, like when
he
in
fosters good talent. He promotes people who show initiative. He
yeah,
listens to other ideas. He's
well, like
actually really good
yeah,
at his job.
yeah,
It's
because
impressive.
he was just like in Trapja.
Yep. Or
She shows up and she's just like, "Ooh, this giant shiny crystal. Guess what I could do with it?" And Hordak's just like, "Go ahead."
Well, let's
And
see
then
what
she
you can
does
do.
it. She does it, and and nearly destroys the world. Spoilers. But it doesn't happen. And then when the good guys win, he's just like, well, that was really cool what you did. Let's try something else now. And it's just like, okay, he was
Right.
disappointed,
Yeah,
but
disappointed it
but
didn't work, but you
he
got further than
recognized that.
anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, he recognized that she figured something out that Shadow Weaver wasn't able to figure out in the entire however many years that she had the crystal in her hands.
He recognizes talent and he encourages and cultivates and grows it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, wow, that this guy's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, overall, I really quite enjoyed the show.
Yeah,
So
I liked it,
I'm
and
looking forward to see what they do with season two.
yeah, I never actually watched the original series, and
Nor
so
I did do a debut review for the first 5 episodes, but
yeah,
so find
but
that on YouTube if you like.
yeah, but yeah, I think that this reboot was very well deserved and
Hmm?
very well put together, and I'm glad to see we're getting a second season, because it's definitely a show that I encourage my kids to watch, because it's that good, and it has some pretty good messaging in there, and so yeah.
It's a little. I hope they give it a higher budget because some of the art is a little wonky in places.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the chat someone was saying that the aesthetic style of the show wasn't for them. The aesthetic style is fine for me, but I noticed that occasionally occasionally characters would go off model a bit. It was clear from some of the backgrounds that it wasn't as detailed as I think they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Uh, I saw some line errors. I saw some odd perspective issues that they tried to fix digitally, and it didn't really work. Just a time and money thing that could be fixed
Oh yeah.
with more money. So
Yeah,
that's
I think
on my
they
eye more than
I
any
think what
disagreement with
they
the actual art style.
yeah. I think what happened on that front was, Netflix was taking a chance on the series, but they didn't want to invest too much
Yeah.
if it wasn't well received. And so the producers of the show decided to throw most of the money into the writing, or at least a relative high amount into the writing, and the budget for the animation was enough to make a solid base of animation, but nothing too flashy and fancy. But
I
yeah.
find really interesting about the show is there's a large physical difference between Adora and She-Ra. There's actually a transformation that is more than just her outfit. In the
Mhm.
original show, Adora and She-Ra it's just the costume change.
Yeah.
But in the new show, her hair gets longer, her eye color changes slightly, she grows about a foot. So there's an actual transformation there. But they're not doing a secret identity thing, so it doesn't really matter that much because everyone on both sides know that Adora is She-Ra. That's not
Yeah, because
any.
Catra figured it out in their first altercation after she becomes She-Ra. Enchantra or Entraptra, met her as Adora and watched her fight as
She-Ra.
She-Ra in her castle, and so she knows she doesn't care one way or the other, but because that's just her nature. So I the only one I'm curious about is whether Scorpion Girl
I'm sure
knows or
they all
doesn't know, but yeah, I'm sure they
know. If
talked about
Shadow
it,
Weaver
but
knows, then everyone's got to know. I don't
yeah,
hide in that one.
yeah,
Uh, so yay, She-Ra.
yeah,
Although I have to say I like the theme song from the original one better.
yeah.
Da-da-da.
But speaking of Netflix shows, though, I watched your debut review of the Carmen Sandiego show, and I sat down to watch it and immediately fell asleep because I was tired. But it's just like I went into the living room and
That
my
elevator
two
gag got me,
youngest.
though. I like that
Yeah,
elevator gag.
yeah, that was good. But I went into the living room to because my two little ones were in there, and so I was like, okay, I'll sit in here with them, and let's watch Carmen Sandiego. And got like 15 minutes into episode 1 and fell asleep and woke up at the end of episode 2. So it's just like I don't know if I want to rewatch it or not. But falling asleep isn't I'm not knocking the show for that because I tend to do that in the evenings when I'm sitting down to watch a TV show or something. But
It was
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it
Didn't
was
inspire me to watch
what I saw was
right.
yeah, what I saw was okay. But
Does it live up to the Rockapella theme song from the old game show? No.
no,
It
no,
does.
I think I enjoyed the game show a lot more.
Yeah, that was
But
fun.
yeah.
All right, so last topic. And more TV Netflix stuff. Resident Evil apparently is being ordered to series for Netflix. Now, this may not come to fruition. They don't even have a showrunner at this point, apparently. But what do we think of the idea of Resident Evil as a serialized Netflix television show?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
let's start here. Have you seen the movies, and if so, what do you think of them?
have I seen the movies? I'm trying to think if I have actually sat down and watched one of them. I think I've seen parts of some of the movies, but
Omnipresent are hard to avoid.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
I've
dumpster fire.
I don't think I've actually watched one of the movies all the way through. But I have watched the first 5 seasons of The Walking Dead and the first season of Fear the Walking Dead. Um, but I got to the Negan stuff in The Walking Dead, and I decided, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you mean
done.
that guy from Tekken?
Yeah. But I got to that in that series and gave up on it, and then Fear the Walking Dead just wasn't as good.
Oh,
I
come
hear
on. Everyone
the
in the
other
chat
season.
thinks Resident Evil, the TV show, is going to be bad. Doesn't anyone think it's going to be good?
It could be good.
Could be. I
It
admit
could
I
be.
don't have high hopes for it either, but,
The Castlevania cartoon show was way better than anybody thought it was going to be.
agreed. Agreed.
And I think it could be possible to make a good Resident Evil TV series.
Oh, I think
It's
it's
just
possible. I have a hard time believing they will.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I'm not a fan. Like I've never played any of the games, so there's that too. Um, so yeah, I don't
played all of
know.
them. Well, all the main ones. I haven't played Gun Survivor or either
Yeah,
Outbreak game.
I still want to play Resident Evil 4 at least because that one and I guess 2. I still want to play both of those ones. I just haven't gotten around to actually playing either of them.
Yeah,
But
checking out a show on Sci-Fi, I think called Helix, which I think is a virus run rampant in Antarctica or something like that, as a good template for what a Resident Evil show could be. I've not seen it though, so I really can't say. But
yeah, I haven't seen Helix either, and it looks like
I did hear
it
about
was just one season or something
these
like
two.
that, or 2 seasons. Yeah. But yeah, but that was back in 2014, 2015. So
Someone with biceps the size of a cantaloupe needs to punch a boulder at some point. That's what it needs. Because that's part of the Resident Evil franchises in Part 5, where Chris punches a boulder in a volcano.
that
Pretty
is
great.
weird. Yeah.
Quick time event, and he punching this boulder. It's the greatest thing ever.
Okay, so this makes what two major television series or Netflix television series based on video games. I guess Castlevania and Resident Evil.
Yeah, and there's still that rumored Legend of Zelda thing, but no,
Yeah.
Witcher. They're doing Witcher too, right?
Oh, are they doing a Witcher series? Oh, but
Maybe
that's not
Netflix, but
that's not based on the game though. That's based on the
based on the
books.
novels.
Yeah,
Oh,
the novels. So yeah, so that's a little bit different because the games are based on the novels too. So
I'm sure
yeah.
they'll use the visual, like the character designs and stuff from the game, because that's what's visually recognizable. But
Well, yeah. Well, those are based on the descriptions in the books. So yeah. But I can't think of any other video game television shows.
Bandersnatch,
Yeah.
not based on an actual game, but
Yeah. I don't know. But so let me ask you, which video game series do you think would make a good TV show if somebody actually picked it up?
hmm. Um, I think Resident Evil could work. I talked about this on Twitter earlier. A concept. There's a lot of different concepts you could have for the Resident Evil show. One that would interest me would be an anthology series, and I love me some horror anthology. So my idea would be like a Tales from Raccoon City type of thing, where each episode followed a different person or group of people doing whatever they're doing, trying to survive the horrors of Raccoon City or wherever the hell it's set. And in further episodes, they could cross paths with people you saw in earlier episodes, or you do the whole time jumpy thing where in episode 5 you'll run across people who died in episode 2 and you're like, oh, this takes place before the thing that happened. Or things that happen in episode 2 can directly influence and affect things that happen in episode 5. I think that could be an interesting approach, and also be a decent way to not get bogged down in unnecessary details by stretching out a single story for 13 episodes or however long the series ends up being. But as far as the movies go, I saw the first one in the theater and I thought it was okay. It didn't really feel much like a Resident Evil movie. And you have to remember, I think at the time, what year did the original Resident Evil come out?
Let's see here.
I think that came out before Resident Evil 4 came out.
Oh, let's see here. 2002.
2002. So it did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, Resident Evil had not moved over into action. So in the Resident Evil movie where she's jump kicking a dog and dodging lasers in the corridor like a big cube trap, that was just like, what is this? It was just weird. I mean, the games had action moments, but this was just what was interesting is a lot of moments and iconography from the film series started infesting, if you will, the games. So because I think Umbrella Chronicles or Dark Side Chronicles are one of them, you actually see actually it's in I think there's something like this in Resident Evil 4. Both of those games have a laser corridor sequence where your character is doing flips over cutting lasers that are coming at them, which is fun but stupid. I prefer in my the actiony games are fun. I think 4 struck a decent balance. But I kind of like the idea. My favorite Resident Evils are the ones where a character is going somewhere to do a thing, and they just end up in a place they just didn't expect. Like in Resident Evil 2, you have Leon's just going to work. Claire's just going into town because she hasn't heard from her brother in a couple of weeks, and they end up in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And it's like, oh shit! In Resident Evil 4, Leon is in the back of a car being driven to some dusty town in the middle of nowhere to try and find the president's daughter, and he's just like, oh, this is so boring. And then he gets involved as, oh my God, we've got not zombie things with their heads exploding with tentacle monsters. I, I like that setup
Yeah,
for the Resident Evil games. That's some of my favorite setup. So I don't know. I mean, I'll probably do a debut review or something when Resident Evil eventually comes out, if it does.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Resident Evil 4 has a laser hull sequence, and one of the light gun or the first person shooter light gun esque games, Umbrella Chronicles or Dark Side Chronicles, one of them has a laser quarter.
Yeah,
I forget which one it is, but yeah.
yeah. I kind of draw a blank when it comes to picking a video game series that I think could be a good television show. Um,
Yeah.
because a lot of the video game series that I've played, there's not a lot of um, material in the games themselves to make a television show. You would have to expand on what's in the game, add stuff to
I
it.
think Witcher's a pretty good choice.
Yeah. But I think the Zelda series could potentially be a good television show if you got the right writers and
Could be a Lord of
fleshed out the
the
characters.
Mystery or Willow.
Yeah,
That kind of a people going on a quest kind of thing. I think maybe
yeah.
fun.
Uncharted, yeah, that one I
And
could make a television show, but we've had television shows like that in the past. Um, kind of that style of you know adventurers looking for treasure type shows, and not a lot of them have been good. Um, so I guess Uncharted could be good if they kept it a little more aligned with the source material than some of the stuff we've had.
you
But
would have to actually adapt it, but I think the basic premise of Danganronpa could make one hell of a really tense thriller. Um,
yeah,
because that basic premise of, I mean, it's essentially like battle royale or Hunger Games, that kind of an idea. A bunch of people are in a location and have to kill each other to survive.
yeah,
That setup, lots of different ways to do it, but that can really work. I actually saw the first couple of episodes of the Danganronpa cartoon, and it is just the game,
mhm,
only shorter, so not good. I mean, it seemed kind of fun. They actually used scenes from the game. Like I think they actually took the cutscene from the game and inserted it into the cartoon. Must have been a really cheap show to produce. And I love me my Danganronpa games, but that cartoon, which follows the first killing game, is
yeah,
at least the first three episodes to me was just a waste of time
yeah,
because you're essentially because all they did was just like it was almost watching a let's play of the game just edited for time, which means you're missing out on a lot of the nuance. So
mhm,
I don't that there's like two other Danganronpa series which I think aren't just following the game; they're their own stories, and maybe those work better.
yeah.
But I think that premise could work as a show.
Okay. I think another series that comes to mind is and this is from a pure aesthetic standpoint, as I haven't played much of the games, but Star Fox series. Make that an actual cartoon show, a 30-minute episode cartoon show,
Yeah, sure.
and along the lines of
Star
those
Wars with
anamorphic.
animal people.
Yeah, Star Wars with animal people, basically. And I think that could be a fun show because there's a lot of
Or
room
maybe go
to
more
write
sci-fi with like
interesting
Battlestar
stories.
Galactica or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. Because, you know, I think that would do very well. And now that I think about it, we've had Sonic cartoons, all the, multiple Sonic cartoon shows. Um, some of them better than others, but just recently, what was the recent Sonic cartoon that
It was
people
the
actually liked?
bandages on their hands, right? The
Yeah,
unwrapped, unleashed, unfurled, uncloaked, unchained, something. It's probably not anything.
Yeah. Sonic Boom. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't even close. I was thinking of Sonic Unleashed. I guess I think that's the werewolf one, isn't it? Or the were the hedgehog, whatever.
Yeah.
We
But
still haven't seen the what movie Sonic's going to look like. I have a feeling that Sega or whoever's producing the movie was like, "Oh, we probably need to redesign and re-render the entire movie."
yeah.
People aren't
But
going to like it.
oh, have you watched the Mega Man cartoon that just came out?
Fully charged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a debut review of it.
Okay.
It's
It's
not
terrible. I watched the first couple of episodes and I'm just like, oh, this is absolutely terrible. That stupid little
thing
head
that lives in his
thing in
head.
it. Yeah,
No,
I'm just like, why
no,
is that there?
stop.
But yeah, that cartoon was absolute
Sonic
garbage.
Boom.
But yeah,
Kyle likes the show. Sonic Boom. Oh, you're a fan too? No, it's just, I said it first.
yeah.
What if? What if? Ooh, what if F-Zero was it? Because that F-Zero actually has a surprising amount of lore and backstory. That it's there, no one knows or cares, but you could
Yeah,
probably make a whole Death Race kind of show just around the whole premise of F-Zero.
yeah, that's true.
Borderlands? Huh. Don't
Yeah.
know enough about it really, but
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't think would make good shows, but I don't know anything about Borderlands. Maybe something like um, oh goodness, now I forget the show or the game, the one with the Big Daddy, BioShock.
Bioshock.
That could actually be kind of fun, doing a series that takes place in the underwater town, underwater city. Um, that would be kind of neat. But but yeah, um,
So if they do Star Fox though, how should they do it? Should it be animated? Should it be
oh yeah, animated, like an actual like
what if they did it
animated show, not
like
3D
puppets? That could
puppets.
be cool.
I wouldn't go with puppets.
Kind of thing. Or what about or I mean probably not going to do it with like full animatronic costumes or even costumes like a sports mascot level of
That would be absolutely terrible.
it would be kind of
I,
with
I
faces that
would.
don't
I
move.
guess
Right.
they would probably do it as a 3D animated show because the video games are 3D, and so you would want to stick with that aesthetic. I would think, but yeah,
Star
yeah.
Fox, the show. It's about a fox who hangs out with a triceratops and wanders around and hits things with a stick. And you're like, what? I still like Star Fox Adventures. It's not a
Uh,
Star Fox game, but it's a pretty decent Zelda clone.
I've never played it, so
Oh, it's
but
fine. I mean, it really depends on what you want out of the game. Uh, that can really affect your enjoyment of a work is what you want out of it. For example, um, Mars Attacks, Tim Burton movie from the '90s.
mhm.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it because I was expecting a completely different movie. But then when I watched it again and knew what I was getting into, I really quite liked it.
Okay.
There were some decent Star Fox shorts that came out around this time, Star Fox Zero. I don't recall, huh?
Yeah, I don't recall those either.
But I do
So,
recall that there were three Pikmin shorts, but I had to pay for them. And if you wanted the 3D one, you had to pay for them on the 3DS. But if you want the HD one, you had to pay for them separately on the Wii U. And you couldn't
okay.
just pay one price to watch it wherever you wanted. You had to buy them separately. I'm like, I'm sure they were charming, but it's like, no, I'm not. I
Yeah.
no Nintendo, no. So, all right, I think that's enough. That's our show. We've
Yeah.
lost most all of our viewers at this point. So, the Pikmin shorts are on YouTube. Yeah, I'm by now. Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. So, okay, that is our show for the evening. Knowing my Pikmin head personalities makes every death that much worse. Yeah. It's like, oh man, what if Pokemon took a page from I'm sorry, Pikmin took a page from Pokemon and you had to give a nickname to each individual Pikmin? Like, no, Dave, Jenny, Susan, Frank, no, oh God, what have I done? Um,
Uh,
So, okay, let us plug our stuff and get out of here. Andrew Eisen, Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube, and you will find all my absurd videos, like my debut review for Tidying Up with Maria Kondo, in which I cry and whine and yell and curse and make a big ass out of myself because I had a lot of trouble sitting through that show. Um, next, I'm doing a debut review for Sailor Moon because I had never seen it before, and I thought, why not? It's one of those things. If you're an anime fan, I guess you have to see it at some point. That's a even though I'm not its target audience, that's just one of the cultural touchstones of anime. Sailor Moon. I have now seen Sailor Moon, and I have reviewed it. And when I get around to editing it, you can see what I thought. Um, it was
yeah.
funny though. I'm glad you liked it, Chaos.
Yeah.
Also, hey, follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen, where I tell stupid jokes, 280 characters at a time. Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter where I talk about video games, politics, movies, TV shows, that kind of stuff. And you, yeah, and that is at Easy Night on Twitter. And if you're interested in my game development stuff, you can check out OK Game or DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, you can check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com. And and just a PSA for everyone: don't buy an at game Sega console. I picked one up at Goodwill for $10. I was like, yeah, I'll risk it for that, and I played it, and it's sufficient, but man, is the emulation terrible, and the controllers suck. And even though the controller ports look like Sega Genesis controller ports, you can't use your Sega Genesis controllers on it, and I was very sad. But I was able to play both cartridge games that I have, though, and played Shining Force for a little while. But man, the graphics are blurry and the sound is terrible.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Oh.
Well, you've got until Wednesday to download all your Wii games if you want to keep them. So keep that in mind. Until then, friends, we will see you this time next week. Take care,
All
everyone.
right.
Bye bye.
See ya.